All right. For this particular element, we'll deal with the air bloodline, and I wore my air. The DJ will represent the air element for us, so I wore a T-shirt paying homage to the Grand Wizard Theodore. If you know anything about hip hop, he created the scratch. All right, without no picture a DJ not being able to scratch records. Okay, so that shows you the significance of Grand Wizard Theodore. And they call him Grand Wizard for a reason. He earned that name. Of course, he was up under Flash and stuff like that. However, the stuff that Grand Wizard Theodore does on a set of turntables, unexplainable. When he's doing it, you better watch it. Because the next time you see it, he'll be doing it. His shit is so deep, they can't duplicate what Grand Wizard does. Okay, so he don't have to worry about somebody stealing his style. When your shit is that tight, you don't have to worry about somebody stealing your style. You better watch him. I sat at a jam and watched him play Dance to the Drummer's Beat, and instead of pulling the record back, he was picking the needle up off the record and dropping it down in the precise spots. And shit was dance to the drummer's beat, dance to the drummer's beat, dance to the drummer's beat. The twisted on a set of turntables. That's the way he was manifesting, because what he noticed is when he started scratching, brothers started catching up to him. So to keep his stuff fresh, he started needle dropping. Then, okay, I was impressed with that. Dance to the drummer's beat, because that takes such precision. And I'm not talking about down here like this. He was here. Bam, dance to the drummer's beat, dance to the drummer's beat, dance to the drummer's beat. Then I said, okay, Grand Wizard Theodore, that's some cool, cute shit. He said, all right. So brothers are starting to needle drop. They trying to catch up to what he does. Then he started doing this shit blindfolded. Let me say that again. Then he started doing this shit blindfolded.
That wasn't it then.
He started putting records over his head while he was picking up the needle, dropping it, dance to the drummer's beat, dance to the drummer's beat. So I'm trying to tell you, what he does is unearthly, so to speak. You cannot duplicate that. So when he's doing it, you better watch it.
He had the record on his head.
The record on his head.
The record never fell off his head.
Okay,
blindfolds,
balancing the record on his head, blindfold, picking up needles. Now they got a movie out called Scratch or something, where these white people try to make logical sense out of the DJ, and they start writing down music notes and shit about what that's a note right there. So they trying to, make logical sense out of what is illogical. Don't try to do that shit. It's not for you. His melanin just kicks in at the precise time, and he does what he does. So I am paying homage. Let's give him a round of applause. Okay. All right. So that's real critical when we're dealing with the air element, because what happened to my screen here? What happened to? Did I? Yeah, there we go. So as I deal with the air element, I'm talking basically about the drum, the power of the drum. We would go out and make our own drums. And the drum was special to us, and we would pound and beat the drum, as I mentioned in my opening. And that drum, whether we was going to war, it had a certain rhythm to it, you know what I'm saying? Put it like this: we would pound the drum so hard that enemies would know we were coming when we were 2 days away. They would be afraid and shit, thinking we was right up on them, and we would be 2-3 fucking days away. That's how powerful the sound of that drum is when we beat it, and it would pump in fear. This is why on the slave plantation they said, y'all can't have that drum. We whipped y'all ass and brought y'all over here and stuff like that, and we let y'all keep a little bit of y'all culture, but the drum has to go. Yeah, the drum has to go, because the drum was doing so much stuff to us spiritually as well. You know what I'm saying? So, as we talk about the bloodline and them along the way trying to cut us off and detach us from who we are, but Brother Rich just broke down that it's within our DNA. You know what I'm saying? So it's within us. All we have to do is start putting the DNA strands back together, and that started coming back together with the DJ. Okay, once they took all of those instruments out of the classroom and made it hard for us to get that drum. Imagine being without the drum, bro. Imagine being, play that loud for a second. Imagine being without this in your life. Ooh. You see what I'm saying? And for me in particular, this air element is important because the drum does something really special for me. I allow the music to talk to me. Those drums are having conversations with my soul that I don't care what you saying over the top of the drum, I can mute that out. So for all you nigga rappers who talking that nonsense, that's cool. As long as that drum is, that's what makes Dr. Dre so effective in what he does. If you can spit anything over a Dr. Dre beat. It don't have to be all that gangster rhythm. It just so happened that he's from the West and that's what he specializes in. But something about those drums that's going to speak to my soul. It's a language. It's a language that when Kool Herc started playing in the park, when he started, and that sound started resonating through the echo of that sound started resonating through the hood, it drew tons and tons and tons of people. I don't even know how many people showed up at the first Kool Herc Jam, but it was in the thousands. Imagine throwing your first party and 1,000 or 2,000, 3,000 people show up. What kind of promotion is that? He didn't put out no flyers or nothing. The jam started, or the party started in his sister's community room up in 1520. It just got too crowded inside. So he had to go to the park down the block and turn up the drums. That's all he had to do. And whatever people was doing, you might have been talking to him. What the hell? You start hearing those drums and you migrated toward those drums in droves. Not only did you migrate, you was there and you was ready to party. That was the first, I call that the great gathering in hip-hop. It's when all of the other elements converge to say, all right, now it's time to reconnect this bloodline once again with who we are. I have to give that credit to Kool Herc. He threw that first drum. He sounded off the trumpet. He sounded off the drum through those records. And he had a massive system. His system was massive. To the point where if he told you to turn your system down,
if you didn't,
and you didn't, so loud that, because they had a famous battle, or not, it wasn't a battle between Africa Bambaataa, but he instructed Bam to turn the system down. He said, Bam, okay, because what they would do is there would be two sets of DJs in the park at the times, and they would share that particular stage. So you rock for a half hour, whatever, all right, turn it down, I rock for a half, and the crowd would move, and so forth and so on. These are the guys who were putting the template to hip-hop all together. And Herc said, hey, all right, Bam, that's, you had your time. And Bam kept rocking for a while. Then he said,
same thing happened in Theodore with Magic in Cedar Park.
Okay, he said, listen,
right there.
I'm going to tell you again, turn it down. And maybe Bam's system was so loud on his side, he didn't hear Herc. So Herc just turned his system up. And that was the end of the story. You no longer even heard Bam's system. Okay, so we're still talking about the air element because this sound was resonating through the air in them ghettos. In the Bronx, I don't need to tell you, in the 70s, 1 building up, 7 buildings down. Fort Apache, it looked like a war zone. It looked like Beirut in the Bronx in the 70s. But we had this newfound sound in which the DJ would hold that particular 15-second break within the record, or that 30-second or 8-second break, depending on how nice you was. The break could have been like 3 seconds if you was nice and you could hold it. And these sounds began to resonate into the air, into the atmosphere, and it drew tons and tons of people. And hip-hop was born or reborn, because ain't nothing new on the planet. It was reborn instantaneously. From that moment, it wasn't a long process with hip-hop. When we talk about hip-hop, you came to that Herc Jam and you was activated. Whatever bloodline that you was up under at that point, you was activated. something within you activated the essence within you to open up that bloodline. And it was on and it was popping. The other DJ I need to speak about, of course, is Africa Bambaataa. Not only did he was the master of the breakbeat and the master of records, he brought the culture into hip-hop. He was the first one to bring that spiritual essence into hip-hop. But people thought he was far out. And so this nigga Bam is from but he told you he was from another planet. In Planet Rock, he said, what the fuck language is that? That's the Twisted Twisted. That's the Twisted Twisted from somewhere else. He never told you he was from here. So when you see him dressing like he from another planet, shit, he told you that. He brought the spiritual essence. He brought the knowledge. The true knowledge that this is hip-hop. This is what this could be more than just beats and rhymes. And it will be more than just beats and rhymes. The fifth element, knowledge. And people's like, damn, nah, that's kind of deep. You see what I'm saying? But that's what Bam is credited for and in my life. You know what I'm saying? So I got hurt. And another thing, I want to mention these figures because for me, I was 7, 8, 9 years old. The very first time I saw Africa Bambaataa, I said, what is that? You turn the light on for a second. The first time I saw Africa Bambaataa, I didn't say, who is that? I said, what is that? Because I'm in Cedar Park. No, check this out. It was in Webster Projects. The 9 projects. And it's jam-packed. And I wasn't supposed to be there, but at that point, you got to decide. Either you want that ass whipping when you get home, because your mom said don't leave the block, or you going to the jam.
Going to the jam, yeah.
That was a no-brainer. I'm going to the jam. I'm going to take that when I get home.
That's right.
That's a given. When I get home, I'm going to get that ass whipped. But I'm going to the jam. So we in the 9 projects, and it's massive packed, and all of a sudden, Africa Bambaataa, this big, powerful black man walks through. And when your father ain't in your life, when you see strong black figures, because you wasn't seeing them on TV at that time.
That's right.
So you had to see them on the streets, and they usually was the gangsters, whatever. Bam came through, and this is no exaggeration, and it was packed. And I think he wanted to get by or something. He did like this. He put his hand out, and he did like this. And the crowd parted. Okay? I'm going to say that. He did like this. He said, it's like he was parting the Red Sea or some shit. He did like this, and the crowd parted, and the mighty Zulu nation rolled through and escorted Bam to where he needed to be, to where he felt he was comfortable. When you a 7, 8, 9-year-old child and you see some shit like that, you like, that's what's, you don't forget those powerful images. The same thing when I saw Kool Herc. Big, this motherfucker looked like the Predator. Back then, as big as he was, like 6, 7. Say it again?
He was doofy in school too. So
yeah. Big dude, dreads, muscular dude coming on these turntables. What is that? You know what I mean? It's especially being, think about this from a child, and you see this, you hear the legend of Hercules. Yo, Herc in the park. Herc. Oh shit, Herc's in the park. And you actually get a chance to go to the park and see this Herculean figure there standing that I showed you in my glyphs earlier. You see what I'm saying? Powerful. The third air DJ that I'll pay homage to is Grandmaster Flash. He was the one who put the showmanship into the ones and twos, the cutting behind the back, the this, the that, cutting with his mouth, cutting with his ass, all that. Grandmaster Flash. And he was technologically advanced. He could take 2 things and spice some shit together, this and that, give him some wires. He had stuff before it came out. And he would be able to rock while his MCs was rocking. He'd be on the beatbox doing this live in the flesh. Grab flashes on the beatbox going, and that was Grandmaster Flash. So they formed that pyramid, and from that point on, this music started taking on a life of its own. All right, kill the lights again. I just wanted to clarify that. Let me get my little thingamajiggy jig. My little